Simon from WhatCulture here, ready to take you on a roller coaster of emotions as we check out the ups and downs from Raw to see how WWE is shaping up before this week's draft. Based on your man Scott Carson's article, which you can read right now over on WhatCulture.com, we're about to experience the highest of highs from the lowest of lows and come out the other side better people. So let's do it. It's this week's ups and downs. We start somewhat controversially as Scott and I disagree straight away. While the announcement of Mick Foley as the Raw GM may have left a few people scratching their heads, I actually thought it was really entertaining, and I'm excited to see where it goes. Aside from the surprise element, he's a genuine name that carries a lot of weight. That's better than, I don't know, Mike Adamle just turning up. Mick Foley is a Hall of Famer, and you'd imagine he's going to bring some eyes back to Raw. Scott did make some good points in the sense that Mick and Steph's relationship does seem a little bit weird, but I actually think it will create an interesting dynamic. So for me, it's an up. The Lucha Dragons are no more. Apart from when they are, or something. Before Raw, Kalisto and Sin Cara announced that they were going to break up and go off in their own direction. And that's all well and fine, apart from the fact they'd already proved they could do both. You know, because Kalisto went after the US Championship and they somehow managed to keep the team going. Even more confusing though was what happened on Raw itself. After Sin Cara got his ass handed to him by Baron Corbin, Kalisto ran down to help him. And then he got his ass beaten too. I understand why bros have got to help bros out, but why do this after you've just said you're splitting up? Makes absolutely no sense. Logic has been thrown out the window. It's a down. Daniel Bryan's return and invasion on Raw was the best thing to happen on WWE programming in months. It made me feel great about life, and seeing his big gleaming smile back on TV was just amazing. The uppiest of all ups. So I'm kind of on the fence with this one as a down, but for now, I'll bow to Scott. What WWE are doing with Darren Young is interesting. After what felt like years of vignettes, Darren Young and life coach Bob Backlund finally turned up on Raw, and then became #1 contender for the IC title in the Battle Royal when everyone else kind of just eliminated themselves. Then on Raw last night, he beat Alberto Del Rio after pushing him into The Miz and scoring a roll-up victory. Now while this isn't the best way to build momentum for Darren, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't enjoying it, because I am. And scoring any win over Del Rio has got to be considered a big one. So for now, we will see how it goes. I like logic, and that's why the ending to the 12-man tag match on Raw made my heart shine with glee and is a definite up. Whatever that means. The club walked away with their hands raised for one simple reason. Their experience won out. Even if you're only familiar with the three from their WWE run, you already know they're a cohesive unit. John Cena, Enzo and Cass are still getting to know one another. So when Enzo accidentally clocked Cena, which set up AJ for the Stars Clash, it all made sense. The new partners realised they had work to do, the old guard realised they could take advantage. That's lovely stuff. Although it probably does mean that Cena and co will win at Battleground. A definite down from Raw was the fallout with the New Day. While the Wyatt compound brawl last week wasn't the greatest thing I'd ever seen, I enjoyed it. And the most important thing was, it was established that the New Day would never be the same again. Then they came out on Raw, and they started talking about Pokemon. I get that you don't want to steer the New Day away from what made them so popular, but this was the opportunity to inject a dose of seriousness into their act and make them feel like a whole new threat. Instead now, it's like the last few weeks didn't even matter. Stephanie McMahon announced on Raw that the Cruiserweight division is returning to Monday nights. That's an up. Simple as that. Variety is the spice of life, and the amount of talent that can fit into this is going to be incredible. Another down, but one that I actually think could be argued either way. After a tremendous match between Rollins and Ambrose, we had a deliberately confusing finish to try and sort the title picture out as we head into the draft. In short, both men had their shoulders pinned to the mat, and even after the ref counted, he wasn't actually sure who had won, and neither were the crowd. And then Stephanie McMahon just came out and said that Rollins was the new champion. Because why the hell not? Was it odd? Definitely. Was it a little bit cringy to watch? Sure. But it did the job it was meant to do, which you'd imagine was establishing two champions going into the brand split. So we'll call it a down, but you're more than welcome to call it an up as well. Regardless what you think about Foley and Bryan being the new GMs, their interaction and chemistry on Raw was fantastic. Both very much fitting into that underdog role, albeit from different eras. Their desire and passion not to lose is exactly what the Raw SmackDown war needs, and it's what we all wanted as well. This is a real competition, and both should go at each other with venom every week. Let's hope it continues for months, if not years. Personally, I thought this week's Raw was great, and the crowd reacting how you want a crowd to react only made it better still. On top of that, it's made me really excited about the draft, so that's a win-win from WWE's perspective. Go and check out Scott's article for even more ups and downs from Raw, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'm Simon from WhatCulture, and I'm off to fantasy book the brand split. My top pick's Tajiri. I love that man.
This Monday, these men are built to destroy. After their brutal match on Loaded, Primate faces off against the Iron Man Joe Coffey in a no-holds-barred match. WWE Cruiserweight Classic contender Noam Dar gets a shot at the Ring of Honor World title as he takes on champion Jay Lethal. Rampage goes one-on-one with Big Damo as these two monsters compete to become the first ever WCPW champion. Built to Destroy, airing July 25th exclusively on WhatCulture Wrestling.